If you've ever scoffed at a 1980 Washington quarter as just another piece of pocket change, get ready to rethink that attitude, because beneath its familiar surface lies a treasure hunt waiting for collectors who know where to look. That gleaming silvery disc, bearing the profile of our first president, was struck in the midst of routine commerce, yet subtle quirks etched into the die work transformed select specimens into prized rarities. Whether you're rifling through rolls fresh from the bank or tracing auction catalogs, the 1980 quarter rewards a sharp eye and a little patience, turning ordinary change into a collector's goldmine. The journey of the 1980 quarter begins in Philadelphia and Denver, where the U.S. Mint stamped out millions of these coins for everyday use. Unlike the commemorative bicentennial issues just a few years prior, these coins returned to the classic obverse and reverse design. John Flanagan's time-tested portrait of Washington, coupled with the majestic eagle clutching arrows and olive branch. But behind that tried-and-true look lay evolving minting practices. New dies wore in unpredictable ways, and under the pressure of high production, minute mistakes slipped through quality control, mistakes that today's specialists prize above face value. Not all 1980 quarters are born equal. One standout variety stems from repunched mint marks, classified by RPM 001 through RPM 008. On Philadelphia coins, the mint mark P was restamped, leaving behind a faint ghost of the earlier strike. Each RPM type varies in direction and prominence. Some show horizontal doubling under close angles. Others reveal a vertical shift that sends the letter quivering on the surface. While the Philadelphia issues dominate RPM interest, Denver produced its own repunch variants, and discerning collectors track those DPS, Denver repunched mint mark, numbers with equal fervor. Under a 5 times to 10 times loop, you'll see the sharper outline of the final strike layered over the wisp of the first. Another key rarity emerges from doubled dies, most notably on the obverse, DDO, and reverse, DDR. Instead of crisp, single-line details on Washington's hair or the eagle's feathers, a second impression overlaps the first. It can be so subtle that casual observers miss it entirely, but to a specialist, it's the difference between a $1 sale and a 4-figure windfall. DDO 004, for example, displays doubling on the date numerals and the motto, "In God We Trust," creating a ghostly effect that pops under angled light. On the reverse, DDR 001 and DDR 002 manifest as doubled wing feathers or extra stems on the olive branch. These varieties command attention and prices far above their mintage peers. Quantifying rarity begins with mintage figures. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 472 million quarters in 1980, while Denver contributed roughly 229 million. But sheer quantity doesn't translate to abundance when errors occur at a minuscule rate, often just a few thousand pieces for a given RPM or doubled die. RPM 007 Philadelphia examples, for instance, number only in the low hundreds of confirmed survivors, and a handful receive top MS 67 ratings from services like PCGS or NGC. That scarcity, combined with flawless preservation, drives values into the thousands for premium-graded pieces. Auction results underscore that dynamic. A PCGS MS 68 DDO 004 obverse realized $1,200 in December 2024, reflecting heightened demand among specialists. Meanwhile, an MS 67 RPM 007 crossed the block at nearly $4,500, proof that condition and error severity can send prices soaring. Even mid-grade finds bare premiums. A raw DDO 004 in MS 63 might fetch $50 to $75, while a certified MS 64 piece climbs into the low hundreds. Compare that to a typical circulated 1980 quarter trading at 50 cents or less, and it's clear why collectors scrutinize every roll. Of course, most 1980 quarters you handle will lack glaring errors, yet even normal, uncirculated examples carry modest premiums. A gem MS 65 specimen, full luster, crisp strike, no detracting marks, sells for $5 to $10, a relative bargain for a fully lustrous modern coin. And as you approach MS 66 and MS 67, prices accelerate. MS 66 pieces might trade at $25, while MS 67, reserved for coins with near-perfect surfaces, can climb past $150. These grades celebrate immaculate minting, appealing to collectors building registry sets or specializing in Washington quarter runs. Beyond die varieties, subtle minting quirks abound. Die polishing lines, for instance, can create light striations across the field, sometimes mistaken for scratches by inexperienced hands. A seasoned collector recognizes these as telltale signs of rushed die maintenance rather than damage, preserving the coin's value. Similarly, slight die cracks can form faint hairlines between lettering or across the rim. When pronounced, these cracks morph into spider varieties that, in high grade, sometimes command collector interest, especially when combined with RPM or doubling. For many enthusiasts, the thrill lies in the hunt. Coin roll hunting, ordering boxes of $1,000 in quarters, remains a popular strategy. One Florida hobbyist reported finding 8 1980 DDO-004 coins in 3 boxes of circulation rolls last year, a stroke of luck that turned everyday change into a profitable cash. Others scour coin sorting machines at banks, using UV lights or magnifiers to spot anomalies on the fly. While modern roll hunts can be competitive, especially online communities swapping leads, the possibility of unearthing a high-grade error keeps the adventure alive. Field stories add color to the 1980 quarters legacy. In 2002, a Texas car wash attendant discovered a faint RPM 003 specimen among dozens of typical Denver quarters. Unaware of its rarity, she used it as a parking token until a customer, a collector, noticed the doubled mint mark and explained its significance. Years later, that same coin sold for $2,800, illustrating how even minor repunches gain outsized value once documented. Another tale recounts a museum curator finding a DDO-004 tucked in a donation tin. Decades later, when the coin was authenticated, it helped fund a special exhibit on American coinage. Condition-conscious collectors lean on third-party grading to mitigate uncertainty. PCGS, NGC, and ANAC certifications add a layer of trust, though grading fees can cut into profits on lower-grade error fines. For raw collectors, those who cherish and signed coins, master reference books, and online divariant databases serve as essential guides. Light boxes, angle-adjustable stands, and 10 times to 20 times loops become everyday tools, helping you distinguish true doubling or repunch marks from scratches, spots, or post-mint damage. If you're just starting, focus on easily spotted varieties, strong RPMs, or clear doubling on the date. Reserve grading for coins with bold, unambiguous errors and eye appeal, sharp devices, high luster, and minimal toning. Compare population reports on grading services websites. A low population MS 66 DDO-004 with vivid doubling offers a sweet spot of rarity and grade. As your experience grows, you may specialize in subtler subtypes, weak RPMs, transitional dies, or mint-state spider cracks, but always weigh grading costs against potential auction returns. By combining technical know-how with market awareness, collectors transform a 1980 quarter from mundane currency into a story-laden relic. Each RPM ghost, doubled hairline, or die crack tells a chapter of minting history. The hum of stamping presses, the pressure of production deadlines, the near-invisible stumbles that escaped inspection. And for those who spot these tales, the payoff isn't just financial. It's the thrill of discovery, the pride of unveiling what most will overlook. So next time you find yourself sorting through a handful of quarters, pause at that Washington portrait and ask, is this coin hiding more than meets the eye? With a steady hand, a loop, and an eye for detail, you'll see that the 1980 quarter holds stories worth telling and profits worth pursuing. Keep sifting, keep studying, and remember that sometimes the smallest errors unlock the grandest treasures. Having turned over the 1980 quarter in the loop, let's pivot to a coin that marks the end of an era in small change composition and the curious absence of mint marks. The 1967 Washington quarter. Although it circulated alongside tens of billions of clad coins, a handful of these pieces stand out thanks to striking errors, special mint set characteristics, and condition rarities that captivate seasoned collectors. Whether you uncovered one in pocket change or inherited a set from a family member, the 1967 quarter offers its own blend of historical significance and hidden value. The 1967 quarter emerged as a business strike issue from the Philadelphia Mint, released amid rising coin demand and no mint mark policy in effect from 1965 through 1967. Designers retained John Flanagan classic portrait on the obverse and the eagle reverse that U.S. Mint users had come to expect, but the silver coins of pre-1965 were long gone, replaced by copper-nickel-clad pieces. Philadelphia produced a staggering 1.5 billion quarters that year, far more than any previous issue. Yet mint set pieces and select error coins slipped below the radar of standard circulation. At first glance, all 1967 quarters look alike, 24.3 millimeters in diameter, weighing 5.67 g, clad composition, and devoid of mint mark. Yet for specialists, key features differentiate routine strikes from rare survivors. Special mint sets, SMS, of 1966 and 1967 sought to replace traditional proof issues, yielding coins with satiny fields and frosted devices. In SMS packaging, 1967 quarters display a matte finish with sharp details and cameo contrast, distinct from circulation strikes. Collectors prize MS 67 and MS 68 SMS quarters for their visual appeal and limited availability, with top cameo frosted examples trading for multiples above typical business strike values. In pure business strike form, condition dictates value. Circulated 1967 quarters in good to very fine grades trade close to face value, around 30 cents to 75 cents. As wear diminishes, the jump to a U, about uncirculated, grades shows modest premiums. -50 Australian dollars to -58 Australian dollars pieces fetch $1 to $3. Entering the mint state realm, MS 60 through MS 63 quarters command $4 to $8, reflecting bright surfaces and minimal marks. Sharp strike MS 65 coins trade between $10 and $15, while MS 66 examples climb to approximately $25. A top-populated MS 67 can fetch $75 to $150, but at MS 68, where surfaces are virtually flawless, record sales approach five-figure territory. Beyond grade-based values, true rarities stem from error strikes. Off-center errors on 1967 quarters, especially those exceeding 2 millimeters and retaining full design elements, can command hundreds of dollars. A 1 to 3% off-center strike may bring $100 to $200 in mid-grade, whereas extreme misalignments, say 10% or more, can surpass $500, depending on eye appeal and edge integrity. Broad strike errors, where the planchet spreads beyond the collar leaving a thin, flat appearance, also intrigue specialists. Such pieces in high grade often trade at $150 to $300. Die cracks and die chips form another chapter of 1967's quirks. Small hairline fractures across the obverse field or at the rim may begin unnoticed, but once they widen into spiderweb patterns or cuds near lettering, they attract collector interest. Pronounced die cracks intersecting Liberty or In God We Trust can push a coin's value above its grade-based baseline, adding $10 to $50 in modestly preserved states. In mint state, dramatic spider cracks combined with strong luster can see values rise into the low hundreds, especially when documented in specialist references. Population reports from grading services guide decisions on grading and buying. While SMS coins enjoy robust submissions, hundreds of documented survivors, error varieties remain scarce. True off-center strikes of more than 5% show populations in the low dozens, making certified examples highly sought after. Low population on error types, combined with certified grades of MS 63 or higher, often tips the scales in favor of grading despite fees, as the premium on a certified error coin significantly exceeds the outlay. Auction houses continue to showcase the highest echelons of 1967 quarter values. One PCGS MS 68 business strike quarter realized $8,800 in 2017, still the record for that issue. Meanwhile, online archives show dozens of sales over 15 years, with realized prices ranging from $6 for modest MS-62 to over $8,000 for high-grade rarities. These extremes underscore the gulf between everyday strikes and pristine or error-driven survivors. Stories behind these sales add human texture to market data. One collector in Michigan discovered a 1967 SMS quarter in a long-forgotten mint set album, free of fingerprints and abrasions. When submitted to PCGS, it emerged as one of fewer than 10 SP-68 cameo survivors, later selling for $180. Another account tells of a shopkeeper in California who paid out a business strike quarter with a dramatic 7% off-center error as change. It languished in a gadget drawer until found by a visiting numismatist who recognized its rarity and brokered a $475 sale. For those venturing into this niche, a practical approach pays dividends. Start by examining mint sets or uncirculated purchases for SMS examples. These coins offer visual contrast that's immediately noticeable. In circulation, focus on clearly off-center strikes and unmistakable die breaks before considering grading. Use online population reports to compare certificates before investing in grading submissions. And, when possible, inspect coins under angled light to spot spider cracks that may add hidden value. The 1967 quarter's true allure lies in its straddling of two worlds: mass-produced small change on one side, and a finite set of mint set and error survivors on the other. As you sort through pocket change, watch for matte finish planchets, misaligned strikes, or ghostly fractures, clues that a coin holds more than face value. With a loop in hand and market records at your fingertips, you'll find that this seemingly ubiquitous issue can reveal unexpected rarity and stories worth telling.